Good Super Bowl Sunday, everyone. This is John and Shawn with Pure Adrenaline Fantasy Sports. Back again today with our Super Bowl Sunday show. We have PAYO Time, LA Rams YouTuber.
Hello.
On the other side at the bottom, we have Jeremy with NFL Chaos for Jeremy. Guys, good afternoon. And Jeremy, good morning. How are you guys both doing today?
I'm doing so good. My team's in the Super Bowl. I'm on top of the world.
I'm good. I'm ready to go to a very special supermarket in Sacramento where all these butchers are from Chicago and they get all this New York, Chicago, Italian specialty items. And me and my wife are going to put together a platter and we're going to have high quality food and have a great time tonight.
I'm going to get on a plane and come out there.
What's that, Shawn?
I'm going to get on a plane and head out there.
Yeah. Yep. So let's see. Game's not till 6:30 Eastern time, so we got some time. PAYO, how are you gonna spend the time?
Honestly, I'm pretty chill. Like I'm gonna have some pregame trivia fun where people can win a mug. So that'll be a fun time, and it's totally Rams centric trivia. So if you want to test your knowledge on the Rams 2021/playoff season, come check it out. Compete for a PAYO Time mug, and then immediately after that, I am going to do a watch party for the game, which I'm for. I'm just be chill today. Most lunch. We're wings, which are always a favorite football snack of mine. And dude, like it's the Super Bowl. Like I can't believe it's here. Like it's just so surreal.
Yeah, I don't know. Man, if the Jets ever made it to a Super Bowl, I know you were doing the how many slumbers videos. If the Jets ever make it to a Super Bowl, I probably won't sleep at all during the 2-week period up to the game.
Yeah, it's been a long 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how it feels. I wasn't alive when the Vikings were in the last Super Bowl, and I don't know if I'll be alive for the next Super Bowl if the rate they're going.
Arthur Torres. Art, what's up, buddy? Shawn and I used to work with Art at our job at the dealership there. Thanks for joining in. If you got any questions or comments about the Super Bowl today, let us know. But before we get into the game, and any predictions or prop bets we might be thinking. Let's see. Cincinnati won the AFC North this year. The Rams won the NFC West. But looking at the playoffs, the Bengals won wild card weekend. They beat the Raiders 26-19. Then they went into Nashville and beat the Titans. And then in the AFC Championship, they went into Kansas City. And after being down 21-3, they rally. Kansas City ties the game late, and then an interception in overtime. Cincinnati ends up winning that game. Guys, thoughts on Cincinnati making it to the Super Bowl? I don't remember what anybody had predicted at the beginning of the year, but probably Cincinnati might have probably wasn't on anybody's list to actually make the Super Bowl. But your guys' thoughts on Cincinnati?
Well, I mean, why weren't anyone predicting them in a Super Bowl at plus 5,000 at the beginning of the year? I mean, that was the go-to, the third worst odds, and their old team that made it to the Super Bowl. But no, I think I just think that with Joe Burrow being back, I think that made a big difference. And Jamar Chase wondering how to catch the football after preseason was the big difference maker. And then I just think that the team kind of fed off of the momentum that they got early in the year. And then once they started beating up on the division player teams where they beat the Ravens twice, they beat the Steelers twice, it's just once you do that, it kind of sets you up in motion to succeed. And traveling on the road for all their playoff wins, other than the wild card weekend, it definitely was different to see a team like them make it that far, especially going through Tennessee and both Kansas City are the 1 and 2 seeds. So I just think that since he fought really hard, it's just hopefully they don't show up today and be a dud.
Right, I agree. Jeremy, your thoughts on Cincinnati making it to the Super Bowl?
It's an amazing story. You know, you have a quarterback get hurt and out for the season, horrific knee injury, comes back the next year and leads them to the Super Bowl. Incredible that he was sacked so many times in the playoffs and still got through. Shows a lot of resiliency. You know, it's I don't even, as much attention as he's getting, I don't even know if Joe Burrow is getting enough credit for his amazing story and what he might be in this league, and and what he might do. And it's also a feel good story. Just like as Jet fans, like for me and John are sitting. When you don't go to a Super Bowl for a long time and you don't win for a long time, just to all of a sudden turn it around, it gives us hope. It gives us hope that we can turn it around quickly and not have to wait years and years, and that we can get there. So it's a feel good story. So it's good for the Bengals and good.
Yes, like Cincinnati was 4-12 last year, and then turn it around and make it to the Super Bowl this year. So yeah, PAYO Time. Your thoughts on the Bengals?
Yeah. Okay. So, obviously, I'm pumped for this game as a Rams fan, but as a football fan, I'm pumped the Bengals are in the Super Bowl. I think it's really cool that if you would have gone in a time machine to like January last year, and you have Joe Burrow recovering from his ACL, and he's rehabbing and going through that I'm sure tough process. And if you would have like got out of the time machine and you said to him, "Hey Joe, don't worry, this time next year you're going to be in the playoffs and you're going to be en route to Super Bowl 56." Like that's crazy to me. Like that really is just insane to me. And I think they're a fun team. They're a team that got better as the season went on. They had some good wins early in the season, but then as the season went on, I think you just sort of felt that they were a team that were. I felt at one point, I think in around week 13 or 14, I really felt okay. They're going to win their division. But I'll be honest, I was one of those people that was like, I don't see them beating like the Bills or the Chiefs. And that was, just kind of where I stood on them. But then here we are in the playoffs, and I saw them beating the Raiders. That wasn't like a big shock to me. And then the Titans, I wasn't totally shocked when they beat the Titans, because I did believe the Titans were a flawed team, even though they were the number 1 seed. But then when they beat the Chiefs, I was just like, what?
After down 3 scores.
Yeah, like that's crazy. And but they're clearly, like, if you're a football fan, you have to be a fan of what the Bengals have accomplished this year, because they were that 4-win team that now is in the Super Bowl the year after, right? And that's what we love about the NFL. And yeah, obviously I'm hoping the Rams win today. But I have no salt at the Bengals.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that it was kind of like from I would say week 1 through 4 was like, all right, it's just pure luck. They won 3 of the first 4 games, and then it's like, then it started winning again mid-season, and it was like kind of one of those like, all right, it's luck. They're not going to end up winning the division, and the Ravens kind of handed them the division there when they kept doing the 2-point conversion plays at the end of a game. And then everyone said, all right, well, they're not going to get far in the playoffs. They'll probably get to divisional round. And then when they did that and knocked off the Titans, and everyone said, all right, Chiefs. And then, so it's kind of one of those, like, why not us kind of scenarios where they have nothing really to lose. They're further than anyone expected. So probably even themselves, honestly, because they probably didn't think at the beginning of the year we're Super Bowl caliber team. We're probably hopefully battling for the division, maybe 10 wins.
Yeah, Art says Burrow is going to be the first player to win a Heisman, a national title, and a Super Bowl. Shawn, that's usually a stat you would know. Is that true? I know there have been 2 other quarterbacks to win a national championship and a Super Bowl, but I didn't know about the Heisman part.
No one's ever won a Heisman and won both the national championship and the Super Bowl. And when he won the Heisman, he won it in the year he won the title. So I figure he won. Yeah, I mean, last year he won was out all year, so he didn't have a chance his rookie season, but to come back in his second year already, and that he's going to go to a national championship game for football. I mean, there's a lot of upside for being a Bengals, not only fan, but to be rooting for that team. I mean, to see a quarterback in the second year, it shows that the rookies that are in this year's class with the right pieces, you could be that championship caliber team next year. So with a lot of rookie quarterbacks this year, they could look forward to that and show that they can do it too.
Yeah. Art also says, I'm sad there's so many ex-Giants in this game. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even think of that. Are there any ex-Jets in this game? Jeremy, do you know of?
Jeez. I don't. Well, PAYO Time. Is there any Ram that you know of that played for the Jets?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I can't think of a Bengal that I.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And the only player I know that played for the Rams and played for the Bengals is Whitworth.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
So it's crazy to think that you at least had a team that, or a player that represented both teams last year and then this year.
Yeah, and if you guys haven't seen it, Whitworth's speech after getting the Peyton Manning Man of the Year award, man,
Walter Payton
some
Manning.
great
Walter
stuff.
Payton.
Yeah, Walter Payton. Sorry.
Wrong Payton.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, I can't help but feel for Carl Lawson. You know, he
Right. Mhm.
First of all, how much better would the Bengals be with him still?
Right.
But like, you know, he comes to the Jets, which is fine because he was happy. He was liking what the future looked like. But man, you know, like blows out his Achilles. So he went from being on a team that's about to now be playing in the Super Bowl, where he could be in the Super Bowl, to lost the whole season, is now rehabbing from an Achilles. But hopefully he could make his story like the Joe Burrow story.
Yeah. Art says all the ex-Jets are done and buried. No, they're not. But yeah, so let's take a look at the Rams. The Rams went 12-5, won the NFC West this year. They beat their division rivals in the wild card round, the Arizona Cardinals, 34-11. Then they beat the Buccaneers. After they blew a lead in that game. They were up 27-3. Tampa Bay comes back and ties it, and then they make some unbelievable plays to get down the field to get the game-winning field goal. And in the NFC Championship game, they took on the 49ers, who they lost to twice during the regular season. And actually, during the game, they were down 17-7 and then rallied to win that game 20-17. And this is their second Super Bowl appearance in 4 years. Let's go with Shawn on this one. Shawn, your thoughts on the Rams' path to the Super Bowl?
I mean, I had a lot of faith in them beginning of the year. Once they made that trade a year ago for Stafford, I knew right away that they were a Super Bowl contending team right there and then. It's just crazy to think, and the road to the playoffs, they might end 3 quarterbacks' careers. Tom Brady retires, Murray doesn't know what he's doing, and we don't know what's going to happen with Jimmy G. So, I mean, it's just I'm a huge Matt Stafford fan. Obviously, he played in my division for umpteen years and a lot of losing seasons and a lot of Lions records that are probably not going to get broken for a very long time. And to never have the chance to make the postseason only but one time in any loss, for him to make it this far. I mean, both quarterbacks, honestly, never played in a playoff game and won until this year, and they're both in the Super Bowl and both number 1 overall picks. I saw a stat the other day. Burrow's the youngest number 1 pick in the second year to make the Super Bowl, and Stafford's now going to be the oldest number 1 pick in the latest year of his career. I think it's year 13 to make the Super Bowl. So, honestly, I'd love to just see for players like Von Miller to get traded from a team that he put his heart and life into it, in the Broncos, winning a Super Bowl there, to come to a Rams team. And same with OBJ to go through his path that he's gone to come there. And then Cooper Kupp gets injured last year. Cam Akers comes back from his injury this year. It's cool to see players that have gone on a different career paths and gone from really bad teams over the years to now playing in the Super Bowl. I just think that they did everything right. They sacrificed so many drafts to get to where they are, and they didn't really spend too much in offseason free agency. I know they more or less just said with the draft picks is kind of where we're going to go with, and trading those for players. So I think the Rams, honestly, the way they built their team is just crazy to think that with no drafting and everything, how they got to where they are with just free agency and trades.
Yeah. Jeremy, your thoughts on the Rams path to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, similar to Shawn. I was like, wow, because when they made that trade for Stafford, because I always felt that I don't know how PAYO Time's going to feel about this, but I never was a huge fan of Goff. I thought he was okay, but definitely not the kind of he's the kind of guy that would needed, and that's how he got there the first time. A really great coach. And a really great team around him and a system around him, but not that kind of quarterback where you think, is going to go anywhere else. Or he's the kind of guy that kind of like a Jimmy G, you know what I mean? Not the guy who brings you to Super Bowls. And then suddenly they make this move and they get Stafford, and he's a guy who I always thought for years in Detroit, what a waste. This guy is so good. And I'm thinking, can you imagine him on a team with a good coach, good system. And when they got him, I told my wife, because she was sitting next to me when it flashed on, and however I found out, and I said, wow, the Rams, they're a contender now. Like suddenly, because they still have that great coach who got them there so young, and he's a brilliant guy. And now all of a sudden they have a quarterback who's for real. I just hope he's not too old. That was my only concern. Like, is it too late? Has he got enough left in the tank? And we got our answer.
Yeah, and PAYO, your thoughts on the Rams' path to the Super Bowl? I know a little bit past the halfway point of the year, you guys went on a little bit of a losing streak. What was the thought there? And then to rebound, and you guys are like 8-1 or something like that over the last 9 games.
Yeah, and I think back to that losing streak, and it's annoying. You never want to see your team lose, especially when they make a trade to go get, Matt Stafford and Von Miller and sign OBJ. And I think when I think back to that 3-game losing skid, and then we lost once to the Cardinals early in the year when they were at their peak. And then we lost to the Niners in week 18. And if you look at all of the Rams losses, they lost to good teams, and 3 of those losses, the Rams really beat themselves in a lot of ways. I give credit where credit's due. The Niners in that and the Cardinals, they were a division rival that beat us, and they put it in. But like I look back to the Titans loss and the Packers loss, and even the first Niners loss that we had in that 3-game losing skid, and each of those games, like, we spotted the other team points, right? And you just can't do that to win consistently. Now, that being said, I do, and I've been saying this year long, that when we traded for Stafford, the number one thing it did was increase our team's margin of error. And I mean that by when your team goes down early, do you have a quarterback that can, rally the team and get back in the game? And, Stafford has that, it factor. He's definitely has a bigger arm and a bit better arm talent than Goff has. And Goff, I will say, like, he has arm talent, just his football IQ has always been my criticism of Goff. And I truly believe Stafford, in his arm talent and his football IQ, is a lot higher than what Goff's is. And with that, the Rams were able to put some wins together, get into the playoffs, win the NFC West, which was a very competitive division between the Cardinals and the Niners, and even the Seahawks. I know they were missing Russ for a good chunk of the year, but team, and it was a competitive division race. And then the fact that you have to, play those teams, and then we had to play the Niners and the Cardinals again in the playoffs, right? It just, sort of this really cool run where to the playoff. Oh, by the way, the two teams that beat you earlier this year, one of them beat you twice. You got to play them again. And so, the Cardinals winning the playoffs was a lot of fun. I was happy about that. And I love Cliff Kingsbury. He's one of my favorite Cardinals coaches of all time. And then we had to take down Tom Brady in the Tampa Bay. That was a game. And then to even last, 2 weeks ago when we're in the NFC Championship game, down 10 points going into the fourth quarter, I was nervous. But there was still part of me that was like, we can come back in this. We can come back. If we have Goff, I don't think we can come back in that game. There was a lot of throws that I just don't think Goff would have made. And it's unfortunate because I believe, like, you look at peak Jared Goff in 2018, he had, a great season. He earned the big contract, but then the regression happened. His football IQ just didn't take that next step forward. It still felt like Mcveigh was kind of having to babysit him at times. And, that's why they made the I love the fact that I have a team willing to make a trade and not just for, okay, Goff's doing okay. We'll settle for okay for right now. I love the fact that they saw that Matt Stafford was available and they made a move.
Yeah, and my question is when, like, you guys traded for Ramsey and then traded Goff and got Stafford, and then obviously the other trades you guys have made over the years, what are your thoughts when you did that? Did you think that, all right, this year or in a few years we're going to be able to compete year in and year out for a Super Bowl, or was it like kind of like we're making pieces, but are we helping a team, hurting a team?
Yeah, I think at first, like when I think back to kind of the first big trade that we made like that, like I think back to like trading for Brandon Cooks and that trade didn't necessarily work out as well as we would have hoped. But like we haven't had a first round pick since Jared Goff in 2016, which we traded a whole bunch of picks to go get Jared Goff. And I think what I kind of realized then is a first round really not. No, there's a lot of, but the Rams have been burnt by a lot of first round picks. I know the Jets have been burnt by a lot of first round picks. And there's different reasons for that. And I love that the Rams actually don't use first round picks. I'd rather they, keep up this drafting strategy of late round draft picks. The Rams still draft a lot of players. We're scheduled to have 8 picks coming up into this draft. Mm-hmm. In this playoffs, this is my fun factoid of the day, is out of all the teams that made the playoffs, the Rams actually had the most drafted players on their roster in the playoffs. Mm. The Bengals have actually spent significantly more on free agency than the Rams did. We have 5 traded players on our team, and they're, good players that contribute for sure. And then that's part of the strategy. But the reality is what the Rams are doing right now would not work if they weren't developing talent from those later round draft picks. And the reality is the Rams don't cut many of their draft picks. And if you look at the Rams roster over the past 4 years under McVeigh, we don't cut a lot. Like we haven't had to. And I think the Rams do a good job of, setting players up for success, giving them time to develop. And we let a lot of players walk after they, they finish out their rookie contract, and then we get a comp pick for that. So it's all part of the strategy, and I'm behind it. I'm all for it. I think the Rams will be good for years to come.
Yeah, agreed. A couple of things I wanted to ask you about. Rumors have started to fly that McVeigh might be retiring. Any truth to that?
Okay, that was one. Man, Jordan Rodrigo, come on. Anyway, that reporter, Jordan Rodrigo, there was one like snippet of a conversation that like she took way out of context. McVeigh talked about how he wanted to be a family man and he didn't necessarily want to coach till he was 60. Keep in mind, he's 36 years old. Bill Belichick did not start coaching as a head coach until he was 38 years old. I do think that like McVeigh will retire sooner than what everyone wants, but like I still see him here for years to come. You don't make the Matt Stafford trade and have a great relationship between your GM, your coach, and your quarterback and so many other players on this team and just walk away, right? You don't go just win a Super Bowl then like I don't buy that for one. He committed to coaching this team for years to come. I know like I'll be sad when it happens because like for years the Rams were in head coach turmoil, right? I think back to like Jeff Fisher, Mike Martz, or Steve Spagnuolo, or Scott Lanahan, and just none of these guys were working out. And then we finally find this 30-year-old punk coach who comes in and actually knows how to build a culture, build a winning organization, and turn it around pretty quick.
Yeah, I kind of like you said there with McVeigh retiring. I think by like 40 to like 40, 42, like give him another 4 or 5 years probably. And then depending on how it turns out, like obviously if they go on a run and they win 2, 3 Super Bowls, he's not going to walk away probably then. But if they go on the next 2 years and they're kind of like, we made the playoffs, but we didn't go far. Was it those 2 years that we made the Super Bowl where they one-hit wonder sort of thing? I mean, I think that if he can go on a run in conference championship, Super Bowl, I think then maybe he sticks around longer. But I think if he wins like 2 or 3 Super Bowls and it has like a bad year, it's probably like, all right, do I need to do it anymore?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, agreed. And with the beat, I mean, as a Jets fan, Jeremy, you can chime in on this as well. The New York Jets beat has just become unbearable because they will take every little snippet they can and try to twist any story just for clicks. Jeremy, any thoughts on bait from?
Well, that's why if you're a Rams fan, you go and you listen to PAYO Time. You don't click on clickbait. You don't go and click on clickbait because they're just looking for clicks. Like back in the day when we used newspapers and you put things in print, it was a little different. I mean, you wanted a catchy headline to get people to buy the paper, but it wasn't this pressure that they're. I mean, in their defense, a little bit because I'm not saying there's not a reason for it. They're trying to make a living. And there's a lot more competition because anyone can get online and build up a name. And there's so many, because it's internet, it's so much. It's not just like in New York, it was basically 2 to 3 newspapers, and that was it. For sports, it was really 2. It was the Post and the Daily News. Newsday came out, but New York Times was nobody bought the New York Times for sports. So it's different because there's competitors, and now it's just a clickbait war, right? So it's like, oh, he said he wants to be a family man. Boom, Shawn Mcveigh is going to retire.
Yeah,
right. Everybody's going to click on it. That being said, if I'm the Rams management, I'm offering McVeigh right now $100 million, $10 million a year, 10 years. And I'm trying to ink him down right now, tempt him with the money, and say, then you never have to do a thing in your life. You got a wealth beyond belief that's going to last for generations in your family. So that's what I'm trying to do if I'm the Rams. It's just more clickbait, more garbage.
Yeah. Before we dive into today's game, PAYO Time. Can you talk a little bit about how OBJ has helped the team? They signed him right before Robert Woods got hurt, and actually, as the season's gone on, he has improved more and more. Tell us a little bit about OBJ.
Yeah, it's been really fun, to have him on the team. That's been definitely one of my favorite storylines of the Rams this season. He signed. Robert Woods tears his ACL, and I still feel gypped. I would have loved to see this offense with Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, OBJ, and Van Jefferson, and Tyler Higbee. That would have been so fun. I hope we get to see it next year. But yeah, OBJ came in, and honestly, like he came in, and the thing I love, people, he had a choice. He had many different options of where he could have went, but he was deciding between the Rams and the Packers, and the Packers offered him like a certain deal. The Rams offered him the same deal, except for they had incentives based on how the team does in the playoffs. And so it gave OBJ a chance to get back some of the money he lost getting cut by Cleveland. And so I love the fact that the Rams are willing to do that. Oh, that's awesome, Gunner. Yeah. Oh man. But OBJ has just really come in here, and there was definitely some miscues along the way that were unfortunate. And he kind of, I think after kind of his second game, he was more of a red zone target. But then as we got later on into the season, he really started to just kind of get integrated into this offense in different ways. And he does some of the stuff that Robert Woods did, but definitely not all of it, just because Robert Woods and OBJ are very different receivers in what they do. But yeah, it's been really, really special to have him part of this team. He balled out in the playoffs. He's been playing so well. He's had some really clutch catches. And I just saw the interview with him last night where he said he was asked point blank if he'd be willing to take a discount to stay in LA, and he said yes. So that's exciting, and I hope we bring him back next year.
Yeah, I was just about to say I saw last night about him saying he'd take a discount. So I think with that being that knowing the Rams GM, like, hey, we go out and we win a Super Bowl today, what's the first thing we want to do? We're probably going to either A, give a contract extension to Stafford, and B, we're going to try to get OBJ back and have this offense just as bad to where we were. Now, the question that I have with that, Henderson and I think Michelle are both free agents. Do you let them walk and run with Akers, being that he is a second-year back, technically a rookie back because he didn't play this year at all? But do you let him be the starter and maybe draft a rookie running back again? Or do you go and try to re-sign one of them knowing they kind of controlled the offense all year with Akers being out? And then now that Akers is back, he's kind of taken over in the playoffs. What do you think about that?
So we also drafted a running back last year named Jake Funk, who they really like. And he was injured most of this year, but when he does play, he does, an okay job. I don't see them bringing back the full stable of running backs. I think that that's awesome, Gunner. I don't see them bringing back both Michelle and Henderson. Henderson, I feel for the guy because he actually is a good running back, and he had the opportunity this year that every running back wants to be the lead back. And there were some games that he did really well. And if you look back, if you want to see a really good Darrell Henderson game, look at the highlights from the Rams playing the Giants this year. And I know it's the Giants, everyone jokes about that, but like Henderson was a large reason of why we won that game so dominantly. And I think that they'll let Henderson walk. Sony, if it's the right deal, I could see him coming back. I do think Sony Michel really likes being with the Rams. I think he likes our culture. He likes our organization. So if I had to put money, hey, what's up, Toon Link? If I had to put money on it, I'd probably think Sony's more likely to stay than Hendo, but you never know.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Shawn.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I was thinking the same thing more or less. I think Henderson probably wants to be a starter after this year. And I was thinking, obviously, now with Kamara's obviously issues going on, I could see him maybe fitting in down there in the Saints because I don't know if he's going to earn that big contract yet. So they might be able to get him for a little bit cheaper to more or less prove himself and maybe sign another 1-year deal. I know running backs don't like 1-year deals, but.
Toon Link says, Kitty gonna lose. That's funny. I'm looking at the Rams free agents right now. Von Miller, Sony Michel, OBJ, some of the big names. Matt Gay, he's a restricted free agent. So
he's coming back.
Your backup quarterback, John Wolford. Yeah. So.
Now, wasn't Matt Gay on the Bucks last year when they won the Super Bowl?
No, they cut him before the year started.
Yeah.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah.
I know he was on the Bucks last year. I didn't know if he was on the Super Bowl team. I was say that'd be pretty weird to win 2 Super Bowls with 2 different teams. But
No, they cut him before the year started.
Yeah, he's been a great kicker for us, but yeah, he was a 2nd-round pick by the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think the best kicker of the year though definitely goes to Evan McPherson.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
To be a rookie, I mean, obviously I watched him at Florida, and being a Florida Gators fan, every time he kicked the ball, I'm like, is he even going to make it? And his numbers his freshman and sophomore year were horrendous. And it was just like, all right, well, then he actually lost his starting job. And then junior year, the kicker got injured and they brought him back and he like kicked, I think it was like 75%. And then his senior year was just like, he was making kicks like it was left and right. And then when the Bengals drafted him, I'm like, all right, well, he at least got a starting job. And then he came out and he beat my Vikings week 1. I'm like, all right, now I don't like him anymore.
yeah.
But no, I mean, for me being a Gators fan and everything, I think there's like 4 or 5 Gators on the Bengals, and I think there's like 2 or 3 on the Rams. I'm like, all right, well, it's at least cool to see that my college football team is at least getting players that are going on teams that are doing decent. So
That's cool.
But I think Evan McPherson, I think, is going to be the kicker for a while. I think he might take over, honestly, Justin Tucker for being the best kicker in the league.
So yeah, absolutely. Looking at the matchup on paper, the Bengals lead the all-time series 8-6. The Rams did win the last meeting in 2019, 24-10. And looking at the offensive stats from this year, the Bengals averaged 361 yards a game to the Rams 372. Passing yards were pretty close, 259 to 273. Rushing 102. Rushing yards 102 for the Bengals per game and 99 for the Rams. And for the season, both teams scored exactly 460 points. So on paper, this game looks like a unbelievable matchup. What are your guys' thoughts on who's going to win and why?
I'll say this, and it was interesting because PAYO alluded to it before. He said when the Rams went on their 3-game losing streak and had their skid, they beat themselves. And evidence to back that up went through my mind is Stafford is as a Ram is 8-0 when he doesn't throw an interception. So if there's no interceptions, they're 8-0. Even if he throws 1+ interceptions, they're still 7-5. But so they could still win. It doesn't mean if he does an interception, they don't win. But 8-0. So when this team doesn't make mistakes, they win. For that reason, and I know that the numbers might look similar and everything. I think when we talk about it's going to be a shootout, both teams could score at will or whatever. I still think about Cincinnati's defensive line. I think about the Rams' 3+ sacks a game throughout the playoffs. I think about the amount of times that Joe Burrow got sacked. And I'm thinking if a defense out of these two teams is able to stand up and control the other, it's going to be the Rams controlling the Bengals because of pressure on the quarterback. I know it's like he got sacked all that times and they still won, but that's no way to win week in and week out when your quarterback goes down 8 times or 9 times. So, I think you say who's going to win. I say the Rams are going to win 34-17.
Shawn, your thoughts?
I'm kind of been with the Rams, obviously because I like the Matt Stafford story. Don't get me wrong, Joe Burrow coming back from his injury and all that, you can't ever make that kind of storyline up to come back from that big of a injury. But I think he's got more years to come. Where Matt Stafford, the years are kind of running out now to get that Super Bowl ring and to stamp himself into a Hall of Fame career, pretty much. So I got the Rams winning it today. I think honestly though, it's going to be like a 42-31 score. I think it's going to be high scoring, but I think the Rams end up winning by double digits with a late turnover that makes it just kind of the icing on the cake.
Yeah, I expect the Rams to win today as well. My actual game prediction I have here is 31-17. Even though these teams do look even on paper, I just like the Rams. For me, it came down to the Rams defense. I think they're going to pressure Burrow into making a bad turnover, and that'll be the difference maker in the game. But Payo, your thoughts. We know you're hoping the Rams win, but honest thoughts of the game.
Yeah, I think these teams do provide a fun matchup. It's the first time two number 4 seeds are matching up in the Super Bowl, which is really cool. And in general, I think it's going to be a good game. Like I said before, I do think there are going to be some mistakes by both teams in this game. I expect turnovers. I expect weird penalties that we're going to yell at the refs. Looking forward to that, and it's going to be a great game. I am expecting it to be a closer game. I love that you guys are predicting the Rams to win in a little more dominant fashion, but I am predicting a 37-34 win for the Rams.
Wow, nice and close. So so go ahead, Shawn.
So I asked John this, I think, on Thursday night. Is there going to be an octopus today?
Do you guys? First off, Shawn had to tell me what it was. Do you guys know?
Do you know what an
is?
Octopus is in football?
Some weird Minnesota Vikings thing.
No,
it's a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, 8-point play.
Oh,
scored by the same player, right?
Same player. So do you think there'll be an octopus?
I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, I don't think so. If it did happen, I think it'd be either Cooper Kupp for the Rams or Joe Mixon for the Bengals.
Oh, Mixon, yeah. I was gonna say Chase for the Bengals.
The crazy thing is the photo I sent John about it being an octopus. It was actually used by Joe Mixon photo.
Oh, was it?
But I don't think there'll be one anyways. Not by the same player. I think you might see a 2-point conversion happen today just because you need it for the points, obviously, at some point maybe. But I don't think either kicker is missing an extra point today.
Yeah. Gunner in the chat says, whose house?
Rams.
There you go. So what else do we have? Guys, we all went around, gave our predictions for the game. How about MVP? Who do we think will be MVP? Shawn, we'll start with you.
I'm not going to go with the favorites, obviously. So I'm going to go with a longer shot. I do think Aaron Donald wins MVP today. I think just because I think he's honestly going to see 2 to 3 sacks, a lot of pressures, and a lot of quarterback hits. Like I said 2 weeks ago when we found out who was making the game that Thursday following, I said there'd be 10 sacks today. So I'm still sticking with that prediction. I think the Rams are going to be all over Cincinnati in the offensive line, especially with Von Miller on one side and Aaron Donald on the other. I just don't think if the Bengals struggled with the Titans offensive or defensive line with their 2 power guys on each end, I do think that they're going to struggle even more with the probably 2 top 5 players at their position.
Yeah. Jeremy, prediction for MVP.
Well, obviously the safer money goes with the quarterbacks just based on history and all that. But if I'm gonna go off the beat, and I'm gonna say if it's not gonna be a quarterback and someone's gonna do it, I'm gonna go that way, right? Rather than the boring, just pick the winning quarterback. I'm gonna go with OBJ.
Wow.
Actually, I went the boring way. I took Matthew Stafford to win MVP. I think he will be the difference maker. But yeah, Payo, your thoughts on who and like Shawn, do you have somebody who most people aren't thinking?
So I lost track for that. I think that obviously Matt Stafford quarterback, it's probably just because the quarterback has the ball in his hands every play that gives him the most opportunity. But I think second to that, who's going to have the ball the most besides Matt Stafford today on the Rams? It's going to be Cooper Kupp. He'll get his targets, and I definitely think OBJ has that shot as well. But I think Cooper Kupp's been OBJ's been playing phenomenal, and that's also helped let Cooper Kupp have a historic Super Bowl run himself. I think he's 130 yards away from the NFL playoff record for most receiving yards in a playoff run. So that'd be cool to see him break. But I also someone I want to say, and he's that guy no one's heard of, and unless you follow football a little bit, because Tyler Higbee is out, he got moved to IR on Friday. That means Kendall Blankton is our starting tight end. He had a couple of big catches against the Niners in the NFC Championship game. And I feel, I don't know if he has a shot at winning MVP, but I feel like he might have a shot of making those, like, the David Tyree, Mario Manningham, like the type of play that's just like a game-changing play. Because he's a big athletic tight end. He just hasn't had a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, everybody in the chat, thanks for chiming in. If give your predictions, we'll share them on screen. Game predictions, MVP predictions. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, that notification bell. Thanks for watching. But yeah, Shawn, I was looking for it. You sent me a picture the other day. It was something like the last 7 teams that won the coin toss have lost the game.
No, I think it was the last 7 won the game. Could be wrong. Hold on. No, the winner of the coin toss has lost the last 7. So the Seahawks, the Panthers, the Falcons, the Patriots, the Rams, Niners, and the Bucks last year. So honestly, if you win the coin toss, I don't. Super Bowl. Did I say the Bucks? No, the Chiefs won the coin toss last year, so I meant the Chiefs. So I mean, maybe you don't want to win the coin toss.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the coin toss, the Rams get to call the coin toss because we're the home team in our own stadium. Oh.
Well, it's like playing the Chargers. You could be the home team and the away team in the same stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that sites like DraftKings and FanDuel do, they allow you to make prop bets. So my prop bets for today's game are: I took Matthew Stafford to win the MVP. I took the Bengals to win the toss. I didn't go heads or tails. I just picked the Bengals to win the toss. I picked the first offensive play to be a pass. Jamar Chase to go over 78.5 yards, and Joe Burrow to go over 279.5 yards. Do you guys have any player or game predictions for today?
I just think that you're going to see more passing today. Honestly, a lot of passing. You're going to see very little rushing, I think. So honestly, probably taking either side of the ball, running backs to go under would probably be a pretty good prediction, just for the fact that I think you're going to see 2 teams that are going to be not have the chance to run it with the defensive line and have to pass the ball a lot more.
Yeah. Jeremy or PAYO?
I think an interesting prediction. I'll make a weird kind of prediction. I'm going to say, like, beginning to mid third quarter, the Rams are going to be up like 24-3, and then they're going to win 34-17. So, but I just see, going back to before, I think Akers for the running back, I think, for the Rams, obviously, is going to have a good game. You were talking about the running backs before and re-signing them. I don't think it matters that much. I think the one of the things about the Rams trading all their first round picks that doesn't hurt them as much is you could replace running backs in the later rounds in the draft, especially this draft. I actually like a lot of running backs. So not to put down the position because everybody has to play their role, but I just think that right now the role that Henderson and Mitchell play is just to help be the ones to grind down the other team's line and kind of grind them down. So I think that's easy to replace. I don't think it's a big deal whether they sign them. Again, no disrespect to them because they do their job, but I think you could find other people that can do that job. So I think, I think that Akers might have a decent game. I think Kupp will have a good game, but I think obviously I picked OBJ because I think he's going to have. I think he's feeling it again. I think he got his confidence back. I think he got his mojo back, and I think he likes the big stage. And I think he's going to do some special things today.
Now, the main question I want to see is when the game starts, when the Rams are on offense, is if Eli Apple talks the talk that he had against Tyreek Hill. I want to see him go up against Cooper Kupp and watch Cooper Kupp just burn burn him like toast left in a microwave or a toaster oven, because the guy has had probably the most luck in his career, and he had one good play against the Chiefs, and he was like talking the talk like he was going to stop Tyreek Hill 9 times out of 10, and I'd love to see him stop Cooper Kupp 9 times out of 10, because I think Cooper Kupp might put up 150 yards on him.
Yeah, that Eli Apple trash talk this week, it just made no sense to me, because number one, I actually think Hilton will probably be on Kupp more than Eli Apple will be. But also, if I'm the Bengals defensive coordinators, I'm not trusting Eli Apple to shadow Cooper Kupp the whole game, right? So I don't know. Cooper Kupp, he's going to get his yards. He gets open. He's one of the best at doing it for a reason. And Gunner, for the record, I have been wearing this shirt each time. It is a little superstitious of mine. I do have a couple other Rams shirts that I've worn in the past, but this shirt, the Rams have been winning in the playoffs, and I'll fully admit I have not washed it. I am wearing this every playoff game, in every video. Yeah.
So guys, we're getting to the end of our stream here. Thanks for joining us, Jeremy. What do you have? Do you have anything going on today?
Yeah, me and my brother are gonna we have like 3 or 4 people that consistently request and want to hang out with us during football games. So I don't know if we're gonna do the whole game, but we're gonna pop in the beginning and everything and just hang out with a few of our Jet friends on my channel. And then I'll probably on my phone be at PAYO's channel, and then end up there. But so we're going to do that today. But the real big thing I'm pushing right now is, I started my channel less than 3 months ago. It's NFL Chaos with Jeremy. I finally figured out how to get my link changed, my URL to the name of my channel. It just had to do with putting a poster banner up or something like that. So I got that taken. So I got that taken care of. It's been a lot of fun. It's going really well. I have a show every Wednesday night. And I pretty much go on every Friday night, and then we do during the season watch parties for multiple different teams, like Red Zone, where we jump around and do different teams. It's a fun channel. I'm also becoming known as the biggest eater on YouTube because I'm not shy to eat live. So check me out there, and I'm looking forward to the off season. As much as I hate when the end of the Super Bowl is always a depressing time for me because there's no football for a while. I'm looking forward to PAYO having the time to collab. I need a Vikings fan, Shawn, so hopefully you'll come on. I want to do some mock drafts with different teams. So I already did the Giants. I got a friend doing the Cowboys. I got a friend doing the Niners. So now we'll have someone come do the Rams. Someone come do the Vikings, just to join forces together and do mock drafts and have another. Maybe we'll do one with a bunch of us in there, where we'll have 3 or 4 people, 5 people representing their teams and drafting, and we'll have a good time.
That would be cool. TuneLink Main says he's doing a Q&A before the game. I believe he's a Rams YouTuber as well.
Yeah.
But PAYO, what do you got going on today?
Yeah, so I'm around 5 p.m. Eastern time. I'm gonna do a centric trivia contest where you can win a mug. And so if you come in, compete on Kahoot, you can join me live, and we're gonna have a fun time. It's literally every question is about the Rams. I had a fun time making it last night, which I'm excited to do. It's all on the Rams this season and playoff run. A couple of off-season questions in there too, I guess. And then watch party today. I'll have some sort of reaction video that comes out afterwards, and I'm hoping that I'm up late tonight.
Another question: what color Gatorade we got going on today? You think it'll be the typical orange Gatorade, or you think for the Rams they'll probably go blue?
I'm hoping blue.
I'm pretty sure a lot of things prediction wise. I think it's orange, yellow, and red, and then it's like other colors. So I don't know if blue's ever been picked as a Super Bowl choice.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So,
I want to see Shawn Mcveigh get Soaked.
It won't move. I don't think it'll move.
Yeah.
He'll probably have like a beat. He'll probably get like a waterproof hat real quick, throw it on,
Yeah.
and
Puts his laminated play sheet over his head.
yeah, and it just splashes everywhere around it. Like he comes out dry. It's like, but
So,
no,
yeah.
I'm just excited for the game today. I mean,
Mhm.
kind of like Jeremy said, the season's over though, so it's kind of like you're happy it's the big game, but at the same time, it's season's over. But after today, starting tomorrow, we'll be able to start talking off season and be able to go from there and start seeing what people do with their cap space issues. I mean, that's going to be the biggest off season question is what does the cap go to for teams and
Mhm.
who helps it and who hurts them the most.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a fascinating offseason. I think there's so many storylines, and yeah, that's the fun thing about the NFL is, how teams are building their roster for the next season, managing what your team's expectations are. There's a lot of fun stuff that can come with that. Thanks, Gunnar.
Yeah, so we're getting close to the end of our hour here, guys. Man, this has been crazy. Shawn and I started this. We had been doing this stuff, not on YouTube. Just talking every day and doing projections. And week 1, Thursday night, I'm like, that's it. We're just jumping in and doing it. So we started then. I kind of knew Jeremy before that just from hanging out in some jet sites, and he was on a show with another Jets fan, and then PAYO. I had met you through Christian and Charles,
Right.
watching their show. So guys, I can't thank you guys enough for giving us the time during the year, sharing your insights and thoughts throughout the whole season. So thank you for that. And what are you guys looking forward to most in the off season?
Yeah, no, thanks for having us on. It's been a blast to, this whole YouTube thing, getting to meet, creators and people like yourselves and come on your channel. I appreciate that opportunity. And yeah, I think for me, honestly, like this offseason, the Rams have a lot of question marks. We also have a ton of cap space coming up. We have a lot of dead money coming off the books. So it'll be interesting to see who's back. We definitely we'll have our core back for sure, but it'll be curious to see. We're going to get some new players and excited to see that. And I'm excited to start my draft research. And I know the Rams are a tough team to mock draft for, Jeremy, but I'm sure Jeremy and I will dive into that.
It would just be PAYO saying, all right, we traded that pick. We traded that pick.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll draft this pick, but we're trading that pick.
Right.
Well, I fully expect the Rams to trade down in the draft, even though we only have late round picks.
The mock simulator has the Rams offering Jets picks every time I do it. It's always like Rams offering a trade. Rams offering
I can see that. I can see that.
So I'm not joking. It's true.
But no, I mean, I'm for the Vikings standpoint, I'm excited to see what obviously PAYO's Rams offensive coordinator does for the Vikings. I mean, he's coming from a high speed offense pretty much where it stir the ball a lot and run less, and he's coming to the Vikings obviously with probably I would say 50-50 offense, more less because we have Dalvin Cook, so we have that powerful running back, and then we also have the receiving to go with it. So I'm honestly just want to see what kind of offseason we have. Do we move Kirk Cousins and try to go a different route? Do we move anybody, honestly, kind of thing? I mean, obviously the defense is the issue. So I'm more or less excited to see kind of what happens with the offseason with free agency. I mean, I think if Aaron Rodgers is gone, I think the Vikings can win that division. I don't know if the Bears have a chance yet with Justin Fields. I think he's got time to kind of grow. And the Lions are the Lions. I mean, they could have done better this year, but I think though that the Vikings, I have a lot of questions and more answers to see what kind of comes out about it. I mean, I'm just excited to see kind of what transpires and with the draft, free agency.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, this is, and I don't think I'm embellishing at all. This might be the biggest offseason in the history of the Jets. And I say that because since I became a fan in 1982, there was never a 10-year period where we didn't make the playoffs. You know, as bad as people think the Jets are, and they say, oh, pathetic team, pathetic. You know, it's like, no, actually, in the early 80s, we were an excellent team. And in the mid 80s, we were good. And we had a run in the 90s where we were really good. And we had some bad luck. In the early 2000s, we were really good. And in 2009 to 2012, we were really good. But this offseason, we have $60 million before any salary cap adjustments. We have $60 million in salary cap space, and puts us near the top of the league, plus whatever they do in adjustments. We have 4 picks in the top 40. We have 5 picks in the top 100, the 4 and the 10 pick. We have our quarterback taken care of as far as the guy we're going with. I'm not saying he's definitely going to pan out. This is a tremendous offseason for the Jets. And for us to escape this hole that we haven't been in, you know, as bad, again, it's never been this bad. It's never been 10 years. So this, I'm excited about everything. I'm excited about that opening few days of free agency to see what our moves are. It'll clarify what we're going to do in the draft. And I'm excited about all that draft capital and, the changes that we're going to see this, come about for this team as they start filling these holes in their roster.
Yeah, exactly. And guys, if you're in the chat, I have Jeremy's channel, NFL Chaos for Jeremy, linked below, as well as PAYO Time, LA Rams YouTuber, linked below. So if you're not already, check these guys out. Give them a sub as well. And guys, man, Shawn, any final thoughts before we log off here?
No, I mean, it's been a great year. I look forward to the off season, what we've been working on, obviously. We're also working on a lot of new stuff for next year to kind of interact with people, fantasy wise and prediction wise. So I'm just excited for that. I mean, season's almost over, and we're 10 hours away, and the season will be over, and some lucky team's going to be going to Disney World tomorrow.
Yep. So guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for everybody who chimed in the chat. Guys, thanks again for joining us all year long. PAYO, enjoy the game today. I'll be in the live stream. Jeremy, I'll have you on as well. You and your brother usually live stream, so I'll have that on as well. The Super Bowl will be on the big TV here in the living room. But guys, enjoy the day, and we'll see you next time.
See ya. Go Rams.
Horns up. Go Rams.
Good luck, PAYO.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
See you guys.
You see ya.